an unprecedented time, as we've discussed, and we are doing this so that we can engage with our community. As you would know, our process for the draft budget will be different this year. All of this will be highlighted. We have been overwhelmed with the support we've had from the community prior to Christmas, when we had engagement on the budget, and we thank you for that, and we hope you continue joining in our process as it goes forward. The themes of this budget are renew, plan and secure. More about that later. Councillors, could you please join me standing for the statement of commitment? As councillors of Mansfield Shire, we are committed to ensuring our behaviour meets the standards set by the Mansfield Shire Councillor Code of Conduct and Councillor Charter. We will at all times faithfully represent and uphold the trust placed in us by the community. Councillors, acknowledgement of country. Our meeting is being held on the lands of the Tongarong people, and we wish to acknowledge them as our traditional owners. We would also like to pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. Thank you. Madam CEO, are there any apologies, please?
Councillor Olver is an apology, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. I must apologise. I should have introduced our councillors, Councillor Volkering, Councillor Sladden, Councillor Westendorp and myself. Councillors, any conflicts of interest being declared for this meeting? Thank you. Madam CEO, any deputations?
There are no deputations, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. We will move to item number 7, presentation of reports. 7.1, the consideration of the Mansfield Shire Council proposed budget 2020-21. File number E6411. I'll invite our Finance Manager by Zoom, Mrs Mandy Kinnersley, to lead the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the proposed budget for 2020-21, which includes the schedule of fees and charges, is being presented to Council seeking in-principle approval. The proposed budget will be made available for public exhibition for a period of 28 days and inviting community comment. Public submissions shall be considered at a special committee of Council comprising all councillors on the 26th of May 2020, and the budget will be presented to Council for formal adoption in June 2020. The Council report includes some information on the links to the Council plan, key performance indicators, and it highlights the significant projects that we have planned for 2021. Council's financial position is strong and forecasted debt levels are low at 13% of rate income. We're predicting cash reserves of $7.5 million and an operating surplus of $2.9 million. Operating expenditure is being contained, with only $593,000 in new initiatives for next year, and these are listed on page 10 of this report. Council's capital program is usually around $5 to $6 million in an average year. The 2020-21 will be an exceptional year as we deliver some large infrastructure projects that have attracted significant government funding, which includes the indoor sports stadium and the Lord's Oval Pavilion. The key infrastructure projects are listed on page 11 of this report. The proposed budget will be made available for comment during the 28-day public exhibition period. Unfortunately, we won't be holding the traditional face-to-face forums, but we have prepared a number of fact sheets and they'll all be available on our website together with the proposed budget document for your review, for the community's review. The community will have the opportunity to ask us questions, and a weekly wrap-up will be updated on our website with those responses. And submissions will be accepted as per usual through our website, through email and also through post. Submissions will be heard on the 26th of May and we'll be using web conferencing and phone link for those who wish to present to Council. There is a recommendation before you on page 11, and that is that Council formally prepare the proposed annual budget 2020-21, which includes the schedule of fees and charges, for the purposes of section 127 of the Local Government Act 1989. That Council gives public notice in the Mansfield Courier, on Council's website and Facebook page of the preparation of the proposed annual budget 2021, and makes available copies of the proposed annual budget 2021 for public inspection purposes. And the council, in accordance with section 223 of the Local Government Act 1989, establishes a special committee of council which will consist of all councillors with a quorum of 3 councillors to hear the submissions in relation to the proposed annual budget 2021 on Tuesday the 26th of May 2020 at 1 p.m. at the chambers of Mansfield Shire Council at Hyatt Street in Mansfield.
Thank you very much, Mrs Kinnersley. Councillors, have you any questions of our manager, please? Councillor Sladden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have a question to Ms Kinnersley and probably to our CEO, Ms Conrick. In regards to hearing of public submissions, is it possible to have it maybe at the Performing Arts Centre at a larger venue, allowing people to come in one by one so we can actually provide a face-to-face submission alternative?
Through you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll respond to that. I think that's a good idea and I think we should consider that. So we certainly take that on board. Thank you, Councillor Sladden.
Thank you. Mrs Kinnersley, would you like to add to that?
No, I have nothing to add to that.
Very much. I have a question, Ms Kinnersley. Given that the Minister mentioned on Thursday last week that there would be an extension to the local government budgets, should we be waiting or should we proceed?
Yep, through you, Madam Mayor. So the Minister did announce on Friday an extension for local government budgets to the 31st of August. It's typically the 30th of June. And then further from that, an extension for the annual reports to the 30th of November, which is usually the 30th of September. I have spoken to a few other councils. Most that I've spoken to are still pushing for the 30 June deadline. Larger councils that rely on some own source generated income, such as parking fees, leisure centre income, rentals, they may need to be really reassessing how much income they're expecting to get over the next year, and that may modify their budgets. We don't have reliance on those sorts of income. Most of ours is rate income and government funding. So I think we're in a good position to continue and aim for that 30G deadline. And obviously, if something comes up along the way, we might need to address that.
Thank you very much. Councillors? Councillor Sladden?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I spoke with Mitchell Shire Council earlier today and they have said that they have continued towards the 30th of June deadline and they have released their budget and similarly to what I suggested before, they will be having hearings in a large hall with the associated social distancing and having one person at a time. Given this budget is a fairly steady as you goes budget, I really don't think there is a lot of controversy, so to speak, and so I think the submissions we may receive will be of a minor nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councillors? Councillor?
Madam Mayor, through you, I concur to a large extent with Councillor Sladden, but I guess just mindful of the changes that we're seeing on the economic front from almost week to week, day to day. So I'm agreeing with him in the principle of working towards that budget deadline, but also mindful, I guess, of the fact that there's been some significant announcements recently and for the need to be aware that there could be some significant further announcements coming from the feds, particularly the federal government. I don't know how we factor that in. We're in so much uncertainty, I guess, that, as I said from the outset, what Councillor Sladden is suggesting is probably where we need to head. I don't know that we've got the crystal ball that we can actually say, well, yes, this is going to happen, so let's do this. Maybe the business as usual approach that we've adopted is the way to go. So I fully appreciate Councillor Sladden's comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Volkring. Councillor Westendorp.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, just want to reinforce, I guess, what my fellow councillors have said. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know where this thing is going to finish up, and we don't know how long it's going to take. The rules seem to be changing on a day-to-day basis. We're constantly getting announcements. We're constantly getting different initiatives coming out of federal government, state government. I don't think we're in a position where in a month's time we would be able to have any greater degree of certainty than we have at the moment. What we have is the option to, as the if you like, the game changes, we can do a revised budget later on. Meanwhile, I believe that it is responsible of us to deliver this budget or to approve this draft budget so that we have some certainty about where we go, and then we wait and see. If circumstances overtake us and we find that at the end of the financial year we haven't met some of our objectives for this budget, then at least we'll all know why. But that's the landscape in which we find ourselves. So I believe we should move ahead with this. I believe this is the appropriate and the responsible thing to do.
Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Sladden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Acknowledging what my fellow councillors have said, we as a council still have the ability to put a revised budget before Christmas to the public, and that is an option that we may have to adopt depending on what the announcements are that my fellow councillors referred to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Sladden. No further questions or comments. Do I have a motion? Councillor Sladden. Councillor Volkering, second. Councillor Westendorp, sorry. Councillor Sladden, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As per the report, I want to just highlight that this proposed budget does offer an operating surplus of $2.9 million, cash inflow from operations of $6.6 million, cash reserves of $7.5 million, and debt at 13% of rates, and no new borrowings forecast in the medium term. Our asset renewal of $5.5 million compared to depreciation of $3.7 million, new assets of $4.4 million, and asset upgrades of $1.6 million. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Westendorp, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe this is a very responsible budget, and I'd like to thank our staff, the officers who have prepared it. I believe that they have done an outstanding job in doing this. So it's a pleasure for me to second this motion. I'm encouraged by the fact that we've taken, I think, a very sensible, balanced approach with investment in capital works, but keeping the operational side of things to a minimum, or not a minimum, but without increase. So I think this is a responsible budget. I think it's one that we can do well to present to the community, and I think which the community would do well to accept. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Volkering, would you like to speak to the motion or against?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm happy with things as they are.
Thank you. I'll take a vote on that. Those in favour? It's passed. Thank you. And on passing the draft budget, I'd just like to reiterate what Councillor Westendorp said and thank our Finance Department for the excellent work under difficult circumstances as all the staff are to bring it to that. So thank you, Mrs Kinsley. We move on to 7.2, which is the consideration of the Mansfield Shire Council reviewed council plans 2017 to 21 and the draft strategic resource plan 2020 to 24. Mrs Kinsley again, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this report presents to Council to approve the amendments to the Council Plan 2017 to 21, which was updated last in June 2019, and to consider the Strategic Resource Plan for 2020 to 24 for the purposes of seeking submissions in accordance with Section 223 of the Local Government Act 1989. There have been no significant amendments proposed to the Council Plan itself. The updated SRP, Strategic Resource Plan for 20 to 24, has been prepared in parallel with the proposed budget 2021, so I won't go over all the financial details again.
Sorry, Ms Kinsley. Just as a point of order, the previous motion, sorry, Ms Conrick and Ms Kane, maybe you can help me out here in terms of governance. The previous motion did say that we were going to have 1 p.m. hearings here at Chambers.
Oh, yes.
Despite
yes.
my
Sorry.
Is it too late to go back? What's the ruling? Sorry, Ms Kane, Ms Conrick. Sorry, Ms Kinnersley, to interrupt.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. An interesting question.
Sorry.
Because we have been quite specific there. Look, I don't see an issue of advertising it differently because of the current environment. So the ideal would not to have that, but I think we can put an advertisement in, particularly if we get people that want to be heard in person. So we'll wait until we hear whether anyone does want to be heard in person.
Thank you, Ms Conrick.
Thank you.
Sorry, Madam
You're happy
Mayor.
with that,
Yes.
Councillor Sladen? Thank you for picking that up. We'll move on to the council plan and the SRP. Thank you, Ms Kinsley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So with the updated strategic resource plan, again, prepared in parallel with the budget, so I won't go back over all those financial details. And the exhibition period is the same as well, so 28 days exhibition period and the same engagement process, submissions, ask a question, and all the information will be available on our website. So there's a recommendation before you on page 15. And that is that Council adopts in principle the Council Plan 2017 to 2021 as the 2020 review and the Strategic Resource Plan 21-24. The Council gives public notice of the Council Plan 2017 to 21, the 2020 review, and the Strategic Resource Plan 20 to 24, and makes copies available for public inspection purposes. And the Council establishes a special committee of Council in accordance with Section 223 of the Local Government Act 1989, consisting of all councillors with a quorum of 3 councillors to hear submissions in relation to the Council Plan 2017 to 21, the 2020 review, and the Strategic Resource Plan 20 to 24 on Tuesday 26th of May 2020 at 1 p.m. at Mansfield Shire Council Chambers, 33 Hyatt Street, Mansfield.
Thank you very much. Councillor Sladen, I know you would like to speak to that.
Thank you for preempting. Yes, if we can maybe make this one official and make an amendment to point 3 of the recommendation. So it now reads as per, but Tuesday 26th of May 2020 at 1 p.m. at Mansfield Performing Arts Centre, depending on availability.
Well, sorry, Madam Mayor, can we say or other place depending on the numbers
yes.
required?
Yes.
As nominated or
Yep.
whatever. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So through you, Madam.
Sorry, Ms Kane.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we can leave Mansfield Shire Council Chambers, 33 Hyatt Street, Mansfield there, or another venue as required, if councillors would like to have that.
You right with that?
Yes. thank you.
Any questions on the SRP or the council plan, please, councillors? No. Do I have a motion there, please? Councillor Volkering, Councillor Wissendorf. Would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Volkering?
Not specifically, Madam Mayor, but just to, I guess, reiterate what previous councillors have alluded to is just the hard work that's been put in over recent months to bring the council plan up to date. As has been rightly mentioned, I think it's a very considered plan given the times we're in. I like the fact that it's got a focus on, if you like, local work, enhanced livability, investment in our community, investment in the things that we really need to focus on, if you like, getting back to basics. So I commend Mrs Kinnersley on that work and the rest of the team. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wissendorf? No, thank you. Any more discussion? We have a motion. Could I have those in agreement with this, please? Thank you. And it's passed. Thank you very much. We move on to other reports. Madam CEO, any other reports from council?
There are no other reports. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And in closing the meeting, I will just highlight for you that All of this information is found on the council website, including some amazing fact sheets on all sections of the budget, which are really important for you to have a look. It really explains it clearly, and we really welcome your support for this budget and your submissions, and we look forward to reading and hearing from you. If you're interested in following council online again, we have another meeting next Tuesday evening at 5 p.m, Tuesday the 21st of April, and we'd love you to join us online. Thank you.